All right, that was a wonderful start. This is very exciting, and also everyone's been very nice to Dad. He's gotten a lot of gifts and things like that, and we wanted to kind of announce for everyone. Anything else, he's gotten enough already. Instead of any more flowers or anything, you can just send a check directly to me. Also, real quick, I'm going to give some free advertising to my man Clinton Havey over here. Meet him after this. Talk to him about what he does. He's a great guy. I will vouch for him personally. And seriously, he offers a great service. So, I'll give you a little warning. We have a sense of humor, as you might know, with Dad, and he gave that to me. It's dark and inappropriate at times. So buckle up, because I might offend some people. One of the things I like to joke with Dad about is his, as he's getting older, his probably very soon death. The way I like to do that is when we have a special moment, if there's pictures involved or anything, I always tell them this is going to be great for the funeral slideshow. So this is going to be some good stuff for that. We're all going to be back here gathering and remembering you very soon. The other thing I like to tease him about is how I like to kind of joke with him that he's not my real dad, or that he's not a good father or anything like that. And we just had Father's Day, and I didn't really get a chance to do it this time. Usually I'll do something like I'll give him a card or something on Father's Day. Something to the effect of, I wish you were better, or, that kind of thing. Like last year I gave him a ribbon. If you win, what is it? Blue ribbon is first place, red is second one. I gave him a green ribbon for fatherhood that just said participant. And I gave him a certificate with it that said, "You tried." All that to say, I'm going to be teasing him a little bit, as you just saw. And, don't worry, he's laughing, I think. So the main things people ask me about when they find out that Tom Bombach is my dad, because you mentioned where'd Don go? He's just kind of famous, and people ask, well, what is he like at home? Because he's got such an interesting personality. And people also ask, did you ever want to be a doctor, follow in his footsteps? And then people also ask, why was he driving a light blue Prius that says Quilton license plate? And yes, that is what he likes to drive sometimes. It's Mom's car, but he drives it with an odd sense of pride. And the license plate says Quilton. Quilt in. It's not quilting. You couldn't fit that on the back. So I'll answer this question. What is he like at home? Well, as you can imagine, he's super annoying. If you're like me, you like to relax, and that's just not going to fly at home. Dad's idea of relaxing is to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and for breakfast he'll have like one raisin or something. He's trying the new one-a-day raisin. And after that, it's time to, by God, get things done. Drive my mom to a 14-hour square dancing seminary, read a 600-page book about theology, and then drive out to the ranch, fill up the feeders, do some chainsaw work, come back, go to the office on his day off, do some charting, call me with an off-color joke that I told him earlier that day, and then after that, have lunch. I swear, he can't relax. His idea of a vacation, to get away from the 35 patients a day that he sees here in Georgetown, is to go to Mexico and see 65 patients a day for 2 weeks while leading Bible study in the morning and the evening and driving the caravan and not stopping. He won't drink on the caravan because he doesn't want to have to stop for the bathroom. He intentionally dehydrates himself so that he can got to get on down the road. As he says, we're burning daylight. And you cue the Seinfeld music here. What is the deal with the diet? Constant dieting, we get it, you're skinny. You weigh less than a jockey with an eating disorder. 100 pounds, 90 pounds, whatever the number is. Why don't you just eat a donut with us and put some fat on your body? Because it feels like I'm hugging a pillowcase full of junior-sized golf clubs. Where was I? Sorry. He's laughing, I promise. So Dad is a man of discipline, a man who has some certain kind of policies and beliefs. One of his policies is he doesn't really want to work when he's off of work. Can't blame him. He also has another policy that poor Susie had probably had to deal with. At work, he says he doesn't do vomit. Or fainting? Okay, I didn't know that one, but he doesn't do vomit, so these women here, Susie and my mom, got to deal with all the vomit in the world. I was going to say, he doesn't want to work when he's off of work, and he doesn't want to do vomit, so of course, me, his son, I was sick and throwing up basically every weekend of my life for the first 18 years. Sorry about that, Dad. He basically just wanted a son that could help him do work at the ranch. And what he got was someone that would die of asthma every time we went to the ranch. And that served two purposes of kind of ruining his day. It kept him from getting the work done, which he really hates, and it made him have to go save my life or something. Take me to the ER every year in Llano. His other famous policy, though, is that he can't be bothered after 10 p.m. Y'all probably know about this. Can't call him, can't interrupt him. And that certainly applied for the kids. There was no grace with that. So I knew from a young age, you don't bother Dad after 10. So one time, I was in high school or college, I was home, and I had sprained my ankle really bad playing basketball that day, worst one I've ever had, and it was really hurting. And I couldn't hardly walk, and I was going upstairs or something, and something happened. I stepped funny on it, tried to put some weight on it, and I felt something pop. And it hurt so bad. I sat there and watched it swell up. I could see it growing, and I'm starting to get worried because I've never had anything like this. And we had company at the time, a friend of ours that was staying down in the spare bedroom, and I showed her. She's like, why are you showing me? Go talk to your dad, Because it was like 10:30 at night. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. She's like, no, you should ask him. This is not right. So I was like, okay, I hopped my way down the hall to ask him. Dad, I'm hurting, and I don't think this is okay. And he just, you're fine, go to bed. That was that. So this might get a little dark, but I mentioned he doesn't like to work when he's off work. So one time a couple years ago, where there's a group of us, 6 or 8 people, it required 2 cars. We're driving from the ranch into Llano, and I'm in the first car driving, and he's in the second one. And I come up over the hill, and there's people standing in the road. Someone flags me down, like there's just been an accident. And I roll down the window, and this guy comes up, and he's like, is there a doctor? We need a doctor. And I was like, this is amazing. Yes, there's a doctor in the next car. I'll get him. And I run out. I go over to Dad. I was like, Dad, they need a doctor. There's been a terrible accident. And I can kind of see it on his face that he's not looking forward to having to try to save lives with a whole crowd of people watching him. So imagine his relief when it turns out the people were already dead. So he really dodged a bullet there. To soften that dark joke a little bit. What he did do, I will say, the person that had caused the accident, she was okay, and she was very shaken, and to be serious for a moment, the kind of guy Dad is, he talked with her, he prayed with her, he shared Bible truth with her, he was there for her, while the rest of us were kind of sitting back not knowing what to do, and he took the lead, and he did that. You can always count on him for stuff like that. And a quick note, by the way, I've mentioned a couple times, Dad doesn't like to be working when he's not at work, and some of you I know in this room have probably called him with work questions before, and you're probably wondering, have I been a burden? Oh gosh. So I just want to reassure you, you have. I kid. He loves everybody. So the other question I was going to get to, people asked me, did you want to follow in his footsteps and be a doctor? And there were parts, I will say, that looked appealing. I got to hang out at the doctor's lounge at the hospital. got cable TV, which we didn't have at home, and free Cokes, and so there's a lot of, that part seemed pretty nice. I loved visiting the clinic. Everyone was so nice to me there. It was such a joyful place to go in there, and I loved seeing you guys, and you all made me feel very special every time I went, and it was a fun, happy place in his wing of the office. And so it didn't seem like work, so that seemed appealing to me. I didn't even mean that like that. The other thing too, at the old clinic, I don't know if y'all remember, there was the main hallway, like where you would come into the hallway and into an exam room. Well, there was these secret hallways on the outside of it. It was really cool because I could go back there and listen in on all the patient visits. I heard some amazing things. Another nice thing also, when I became obsessed with Texas A&M and football and stuff like that, Dad started going to medical meetings in College Station. He would bring me and found a way to go to his medical meetings and then spend time with me, and we'd go to an Aggie football game and stuff like that. And I was like, man, this is really cool. So, and plus the Cosby Show was cool. Being a doctor seemed cool. Like, I liked Dr. Huxtable. Everyone seemed happy. But there were some strikes against it. Why I didn't go into medicine. Strike one, I'd say I really love my sleep. And I noticed that all throughout childhood, he wakes up super early and then he would get called out in the middle of the night to go deliver a baby. And I'm like, if that's what being a doctor is, I don't know, that's strike one there. And then so he was the team doctor for the Southwestern basketball team for a while. And I don't know if you did that just because I like sports and you wanted to be able to take me to these games, but we would go to the games. It was fun. At some point, I don't remember how or why this happened. I guess I was with you when you were doing physicals for the basketball team. So imagine I'm a little kid here, and I'm sitting there, and in a line of guy after guy walks up to my dad, drops his pants, and Dad touches him, and they move on. And I'm like, I don't understand this. That's strike two. What could be more awkward than that? Well, I'll tell you. When I was in middle school, then it's time for us to have physicals, and who walks in but my dad? Now it's not me watching it, it's my best friends and me all walking up to my dad. It seemed very penis intensive. So that was strike three. I was out. Strike four was when we went to Mexico. I went with him once. He finally dragged me on one of the mission trips. I had no skills or anything to offer really, so the job I was given was to carry patients from operating to recovery on a stretcher, me and someone else, and that was pretty easy. I would just sit outside the OR, carry someone. One time though, someone called me in. It might have been you. Called me in for something. I had to bring someone something, and I walk in, not ready for what I was going to see, and there's some woman on this operating table, like legs up, and I like saw inside of that person in a way you're not supposed to, and I was like, that was strike four. Strike five was when I learned, not completely, but just, enough. Like what was happening when he was delivering babies, that was not cool. Strikes 6, 7, and 8. I have to deal with the academic side of it. And the last part is that it seemed very stressful, his job. He was always happy. It seemed nice, but it seemed very stressful. The reason I figured that out was when I broke my arm in 6th grade, Susie came and picked me up from school. And I go, and Dad seemed awfully excited to come wrench my broken bone back. He's skipping down there. Tell me, all right, this is going to hurt. Just pulling on my broken arm, and it did hurt. So yeah, that was strike 9. That's 3 batters out, 3 perfect inning. I'm not going to be a doctor. So, when I think of Dad, I think of who I can compare him to, and I can't help but think of kind of some famous military men. And like I said, he's a disciplined man, and he likes the military. And Texas history you mentioned. There's one person I think of that kind of reminds me of him, someone that's got the gift of leadership and courage and relentless energy and just loved by many and many successes. A man who actually fought at the Alamo back in 1836. Of course, I'm talking about General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. Dad's personal hero. Dad's favorite movie is The Alamo. You always thought it was because he has these history ties to the Alamo, but no, it's because he loves watching the story of Santa Anna and his refusal to quit until every last Texan rebel is dead. My mom's not laughing. I'm sorry. So in closing, like I said, it was just Father's Day. I do love my dad. There's this great clip. If y'all ever saw Tom Brady, he's won however many Super Bowls. And at the Super Bowl media days, maybe 2 Super Bowls ago, something like that, they let all kinds of people into the media days to ask questions and things like that. And someone asked, they let this little kid in. And so the kid got his chance to ask Tom Brady a question. And the kid says, you're a lot of people's hero, but I want to know, who is your hero? And Tom Brady, I really respected his answer, the way he dealt with this kid. He looks over, he sees it's a kid, and his whole demeanor softens. He kind of talks to the kid at his level, and we'll say the kid's name is, Adam. Looking at Adam, he's like, well, Adam, thanks for the question. He goes, my hero, and he gets choked up. And he goes, my hero is my dad. And I love that clip. And when I watch it, I just think, man, Tom Brady's dad sounds really cool. Congratulations, Dad.